Hi and welcome back to Pathé Reflections. I am Jay Muller, and in this series I am just sharing on different perceptions and perspectives that I see with the great unveiling, the great awakening and journey of ascension that we see happening in our world at the moment. So obviously this has been quite a big, heavy period for a lot of people because of the release of the Epstein files. So what does that mean for us? And how do we move from this point? And first of all, I would just like to say that to many people who have been on this path for a long time, the information is nothing new. We have known what's been going on for a long time. I did post on my story, in a sense, it's a bit of a relief as that, finally this information is coming to the mainstream. Finally, the crazy ideas that people think is conspiracy is coming to the mainstream. And finally, it's becoming widely known that what a lot of people already knew, and that is absolutely crazy. The truth is stranger than fiction. It's finally becoming to, every person everyone who really wants to seek and know the truth ultimately, because not everyone is going to see the depth as to it. But I've seen a few different things being shared, and I just wanted to address some of it because I think a lot of times people can feel very helpless in moments like this, because it feels like there is this cabal that we've just come in to know, and they're doing these crazy stuff, and what can I do about that, And I think that's a very valid thing to feel, but at the same time, there are things you can do. It might not necessarily seem like they're big things, but they are, and also I just think that, again, the helplessness that some people are feeling can also feel like there's no point. Like, what's the point in even knowing the information if it's not changing anything, and people are still being, just the kind of dialogue that I've seen going on online is just, people are still seeing the information and they're doing nothing, right? And I just wanted to bring some light into this. And obviously, we know what happened. The Epstein files that have been released, some of very, I don't know where your perspective was, but to many people it's kind of normal to see some people's names who've been listed on there. Obviously there are some names that probably were there and they're not on there, and others who are there that might have been implanted and accident. I'm going to speak about this because I don't care anymore, but oh my days, I find it so fascinating because some people are so attached to their ideas that, it's so easy to say, oh my God, you don't believe that, do you? No way. I mean, some people just think that, and then you go on these tangents, and I just really feel like it's unhelpful to do that. Not even just for the other person, but for yourself, because it's a great awakening for a reason, because it's going to unveil so many things that you thought that you knew. And if you think that you are completely solid in where you are, then it's going to help you to just let go of that just a bit, because it's just not helpful when you're actually looking for the truth. And I see so many people who are on their spiritual journey fall into this trap. I'm going to put it out there. Trump is in the files. And so many people have been vindicated by this. I knew it, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, at the moment as it stands, and I know that it's going to change, he has a very bad reputation. The media have done an absolutely incredible job of portraying him in a very specific way. He has been talking about this for quite a long time now. I think even a year ago, I'm sure that I saw something about this. This spiritual woman that I follow, who I feel has very accurate information, has been talking about this as well. And I've seen it, whenever I hear something about Trump, all I do is go onto his personal profile on Truth Social to actually find the truth, to see what he's actually saying, because I know they're always manipulating it, and usually it's there. So I found a whole host of tweets from him on Truth Social 9 months ago. I didn't actually end up going further back, but I'm sure I saw something like a year ago. But anyway, he kept saying they're going to put me into the fake phony files, and because they want to take me down, right? And again, they tried to take him down, they tried to shoot him. I know some people still think that was staged and all this stuff, but it's so important now that we have to be able to see what's real and what's true. You might not agree with what I'm sharing and what I'm saying, and that's completely fine. Part of this journey is when the information comes, we need to be able to discern. I believe that the perspective where I'm coming from is real, and later it's going to come out. I'm not holding on too tightly to it because I know that maybe I can be wrong, so that's okay. It might change, and I'm totally okay with that. But when you start to recognize and see patterns and see what people are saying and do some more research, it all begins to make sense. I think a lot of people who talk about Trump, they don't actually go to see what's coming from the horse's mouth himself. They don't go to find the videos where he's actually speaking other than what the media have edited, So when you're speaking from that place, then you're not really speaking from the authentic position. Ultimately, you're just speaking from what the media wants you to see. So his name is in there, and like I said, he's already been posting about it way before it came out, because he obviously knew, he'd been tipped that they were going to put him in there. I really believe that he has got nothing to do with it, and later on we'll find out. It might take some time. I feel like people really have a bad perception of this guy, and I know he's also doing some very shady stuff, questionable things, but at the same time, I know that he is here to make a big change for America and thus the rest of the world, because no matter what you say, America is always leading the world, right? So, and it's very influential. So I just wanted to point that out, and I'm just going to say it, and only time will tell. We'll be able to show us if he really was or if he really wasn't. But if you've been following, I can't tell you what the truth is. You have to be able to go and do it yourself. Even though I'm telling you this video now, again, you still have to be able to, hang on, does that feel right? And it is a feeling. It's a feeling that it's because the truth lives inside you. And that's not just because of something that I'm saying, that's because something that is true, literally encoded in the library in your DNA. So that's just the way that it is. And so you can also go and do your own research. I recommend that, and find out for yourself. Again, I don't feel like it's helpful to get too attached to, this person and that person, what and this. It's just, if you can stay open, then you're going to be able to find what's actually happening more easily, because as soon as you get attached to your idea, then you close yourself off to different, wider perspectives, and then you can be falling into it. And the reason why it's so important through Ascension for you to know what's real and what isn't is because there's so many lessons and tricks, and you have to be able to surpass them. And if you are now going along thinking that someone is like, I don't know, one person and then they're not, it might potentially lead you down into a specific avenue. But obviously at the end of the day, the point is for us all to be sovereign and not to be completely blindly following people. So that's definitely a thing, but then at the same time, it might be influencing you in very small ways that might not be recognizable. So that's one part that I just wanted to share. And I know that so many people will not agree with this, and that's completely fine. And people are going to think, what? Oh my word. I know a lot of people on the spiritual path, they all think that he's the bad guy. And, maybe he is, but maybe it's not that black and white. Maybe it's nuanced. Maybe it's way more nuanced than that. Obviously now we're at this point where Babylon is literally falling, right? And the Epstein files release was a really big part of that. I agree with what many people are sharing online, that it's very confusing, especially for someone who's only just come into this information. It can send you into a dark hole, but that's just the nature of the darkness. But at the same time, it can send you cycling around in loops trying to find information when it's really hard to put it together because nothing has been come out that is cohesive. Obviously, if you've been following it for a long time, the cohesive part of it is just that there is a dark cabal. They are ruling the masses, the consciousness on the planet. They are energy harvesting through emotional manipulation, through siphoning energy, through advanced technology, might I add. It's not as simple as like, oh, they're making you feel distressed. I mean, it is, and they're getting energy, but it's actually technology that they're using that is doing, collecting that and giving it to them. So, and these beings are not physical beings that have been doing the same thing on the planet for millennia. It's been ongoing. So once you grasp that, and then yes, it's connected to pedophilia, it's connected to the sex trafficking, it's connected to underground bunkers of children all over the world. It's very dark. And so once you get that, you don't need to know who's and who in the play, right? But from that point, the information is vital. And the information is vital because light is information. And the fact that this information has come out means that the light is here on the planet. The light from source. The light from that one place where we all come from. It is here. And so it's actually a very good thing. Obviously, the information is freaking delicate and horrible. And it might take some time for new people to really ground into it. But when the truth is coming out, it's a very positive thing. We have to be able to see what is really happening on this planet, and that is just the way that it works. So it's good when the light and the information comes together. It's only a good thing. So with the helplessness that people are feeling, like what to do, stay in your observer. Know that just seeing what's happening right now and just the knowing of the truth of how this world has been running is helpful. And then what will you do next in the steps in your life that changes the way that you're living is basically the revolution and the evolution into higher states of consciousness. Because once you have the information, you start to get more and more information, and you begin to become a powerful creator, and you begin to know who you truly are. Once you connect and you reconnect with source, there is no stopping you. Become unstoppable. And when that happens, you start changing and rewriting the code in the matrix. So rather than just existing within the system that has been created and designed to siphon and harness your energy and your life force, you begin to cut the cords in all of the places where that has been happening. Now, this is the very powerful work that we are here to do. And the very powerful thing that can happen when information like this comes into the mainstream and into the light. Obviously, many of us have already been doing that. We have been walking this path for some time now. But the more and more other people begin to see, the more that they begin to change their lives, that is how the awakening expands exponentially, right? So it's never a helpless thing when information comes further to us. It's always a good thing, because then that changes our path, it changes our direction, it changes how we place, where we are going with context, with information, with now what's happening. And so then to the people who already have been aware for this so long, all I would say is, I heard the phrase in 2020, we have to learn how to ride the waves. I feel like stuff like this coming through is affecting our nervous system and the capacity. Allow yourself to receive it, no matter how heavy or dark it is. If it's too much, take breaks, take a moment, process, integrate, do what you need to do, go to the earth. Just speak to the earth. Allow the trees to help you, allow the land to help you, and, just one of the things again that we're learning is to become completely emotionally sovereign as well. So the information is coming to you and it's not going to completely knock you off into fear or anxiety or whatever. It's going to thinking that they're more powerful than you. That's not the point. Always remember that the reason why this information is coming out is because their time is over and they don't want you to realize how powerful. Yes, now I'm talking about the cabal, the dark cabal in fact, who have been running things around here for some time. Check my previous video, who are they, the beings of darkness, who they are. And then, yeah, stay in your power. Maybe you will have a little wobble, but come back to your center. Be stable. Be stable in knowing that this is real and this is true, and you can still continue to live your life. You know, it doesn't mean you have to go out there and do something tangibly connected to what's happening with the children or whatever next thing is going to be revealed to the mainstream, right? It just means that you can do the work, the emotional inner work that is guiding you back into stillness, back into your heart, back home, back to the source, back to the one. Thank you for tuning in. If you would like support on your journey, please check out my courses. I have nervous system regulation and also Awakening 101.